ارزقنا اللهم نصيبا وافرا من سر قولك إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكن. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد المأمون على العلم المضمون والفهم المكنون من سر الكاف والنون وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. وارزقنا اللهم نصيبا وافرا من سر قولك إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكن. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد المأمون على العلم المضمون والفهم المكنون من سر الكاف والنون وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. وارزقنا اللهم نصيبا وافرا من سر قولك إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكن. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد المأمون على العلم المضمون والفهم المكنون من سر الكاف والنون وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. وارزقنا اللهم نصيبا وافرا من سر قولك إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكن. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد المأمون على العلم المضمون والفهم المكنون من سر الكاف والنون وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. وارزقنا اللهم نجيبا وافرا من سر قولك إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكن. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد المأمون على العلم المضمون والفهم المكنون من سر الكاف والنون وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. وارزقنا اللهم نصيبا وافرا من سر قولك إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكن. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد المأمون على العلم المضمون والفهم المكنون من سر الكاف والنون وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. وارزقنا اللهم نصيبا وافرا من سر قولك إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكن. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الماء على العلم المطلوب الفهم وعلى آله وصحبه فرة من سر قولك إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكن. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد المأمون على العلم المضمون والفهم المكنون في الكاف والنون وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. وارزقنا اللهم نصيبا وافرا من سر قولك إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد المأمون على العلم المضمون والفهم المكنون من سر الكاف والنون وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. وارزقنا اللهم نصيبا وافرا من سر قولك إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون في كل لحظة أبدا عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. الحمد لله الحمد لله الحمد لله الحمد لله. Okay, بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. We are continuing with our class, inshallah, on Nubdha, Nubdha Sughra, the concise article, and we are continuing on the third knowledge of Tahawulat, which is the knowledge of inventions, right, of new things, right. Basically, the name of this knowledge, right, the third knowledge in. So we go to the first knowledge, which is Nawaqid wa Naqaid wa Mudil Fitan wa al-Wiqaya minha. The first is the first knowledge, right, and it was asbab الوقاية منها. Then we have this, the first knowledge is on the abolishers and destroyers, things that reduce the religion, right, in society, in a person. Then the second knowledge we went through is knowledge of isharat wa bisharat wal nagharat wal hasanat wa sharaf al adala was sanad, which is basic knowledge whereby it's a prophetic indications. I have prophetic indications. where he mentioned that so and so, has immunity, so and so is due to the hellfire, so and so, or this group of people, they are protected and they're in paradise, and so forth. Whereby Rasulullah, basically what he does is that he, puts for us, safety nets, right? So safety nets to know, in a world of confusion, to know who to run to and to know who to hold on to and to know whose knowledge is legit, right? To know that whose knowledge goes back to the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and that you can trust what these people are saying, right? Because they have complete, set, they have complete chain of transmission back to the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and who, of their ideologies that you need to stay away from, and not to eat. And the thing about it is that all these things will be beautified. Like falsehood will be beautified, right? So, so beautifully, in the end of times, that that the majority of the world will go towards it because of its very beautiful deception, right? So we know, right? So we know in Science of Hawlat, right? This, the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has given us indications, right, to know what to stay away from and what to go to. Inshallah, in the future we'll do more of this, right? So right now we're just doing the nubza. I went through some examples as we will go, but inshallah, I mean, I do hope to continue to the other books, right? Like the next book after this is the Wa'id Ada, which I really, really like this book, mashallah. It's really like, subhanAllah, and I would like to teach it as well, right? And then after the Wa'id Ada is equally, whereby it goes deep into the five knowledges of fiqh tahawulat. It's a book that is dedicated, right, to the five knowledges of fiqh tahawulat, right? These are the three books that form, the foundation of your knowledge on the end of times. Then they have two more books, right, which are basically tatbiq, meaning that books that apply this knowledge, right, the application of this knowledge, right, which is basically you have Tabi wa Tarif, and you have Usus wal Mutaliqat. And these are the two books that a lot of you are asking questions, and the answers are in these two books, the fourth and the fifth books. Which inshallah will get there. We will get there. I'm not anytime, going to stop these classes. Inshallah, I want to continue and finish the entire muqarrar, right? The entire set of books, right, to prepare us, and thereafter, to go into specific issues, right, of our zaman. And as we go along, we're going into specific issues of our zaman. And the more you learn this, the more clarity you get. I hope you're all getting more clarity as we go through it. So the third knowledge that we're at right now, right, is the knowledge, right, of um Naam, right, is a knowledge of al-mustajaddat, right? So mustajaddat meaning things that are new, right? So things that they have come up, they are new in the ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and of course new in human society as a whole. If you remember the definition of tahawulat, right? It's a long definition, right? If you go back, like I think on lesson, if you go back, it's somewhere on lesson number seven. Right, on lesson number seven, you go to chapter seven, right, you'll find that I'm going to say chapter seven for all right, chapter seven, you find the ta'rif, which is the definition, right, of fiqh tahawulat. Can you go backwards? Right, or you cannot go backwards there. Can you go backwards? Is it a PDF? It's a PDF, right? Right, go back to lesson number seven. Right, so I just want to point out some parts of the definition. Right, so if you go back to the definition of, because in the definition itself, right, the five knowledges are pointed to, right, in the definition itself. Right, so just in the English is okay. I have the Arabic. Just go back with the English. I think it's lesson number seven. Right, lesson number seven. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. If you go to seven, right, you see there is a definition, right? So the definition of iktihal is here. Okay, right. So if you look at this, right, the definition, just to go from the very beginning, okay, right. So the term fiqh of transitions, or the understanding of changes, right? You see transitions, changes, phenomena, right? Fiqh meaning understanding. Okay, the understanding refers to Quranic and prophetic texts, right? So this is why we keep going back to Quran and Hadith. Right? If you've been following the lessons, you will see me always, and then there's no other way around this anyway, because we're speaking about the future, and there's only two sources to go to if you want to talk about the future, which is the Prophet and of course Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. Right? There's no other source to tell us about the future, right? So Quranic and prophetic texts that discuss the portents mean the symbols, the asharat, right, the signs of the day of judgment. Right. So the definition of this is that it's an Islamic understanding meaning from the lens of the Quran and Sunnah, right, from the lens of the Quran and Sunnah, of changes that have happened, right, that happened and are still happening in the cosmos and in the life of human beings, right. So two things, right. So we mentioned that in our physical environment, right, in the universe, right, and we also mentioned, right, in the lives of human beings, right, and they have so there is a study of there's a retrospective study, right, in fact the how whereby we need to look at the past to understand the future, and this has been a question that has been occurring. Why do we have to talk about the past? To understand the future, you need to understand the past. There's no other way around it. To understand the future, you need to understand the past. You need to understand how we got to where we got to and where are we headed as a species, as human beings, and also as the Ummah of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Right. And develop in theoretical and applied sciences and culture. And this is exactly where we're at. This is exactly what we're studying right now of the in the ta'arif or in the definition, you can highlight the development in theoretical and applied sciences and culture, right, to understand this, right, to understand changes and to understand development, right, in what's going on around us in culture and in science, right, in theory, right, even in humanities, right, in whatever's affecting human life, right, if you can highlight that. Right, so in culture as well as the incidents and tribulations that have occurred and will occur, right, in different stages of human history in general, and the history of the Ummah specifically until the day of judgment. All right. So it is a study of what's going on to human beings as a whole, right? Human beings as a whole, right? As a species, right? And then specifically onto the Ummah of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, right? So, and because this Ummah is the Ummah that will see the most change, right? In the way human beings live, right? If you go before the Industrial Revolution and before technology, right, popped up, right, in human society, right, we see, for generations, human beings live the way they live. Right? It's been the same for hundreds, in fact, you see thousands of years. Like human beings, they live the way they live, right? Then with this boom of technology, of the industrial revolution, right? Then you see this sudden, like very fast change in the way we live our lives, as human beings, with communication technology, with transportation technology, right? Now with the internet, and now with mobile internet wherever we go, right? And now with AI, AI just popped up, right? So it's really like you literally within past, you would say 150 years, 150 years, you see that technology, or you say the life of human beings have changed drastically. It has. 150 years ago, right? If you want to go for a Hajj, I know because my grandmother went for a Hajj on a ship, right? She's not 150 years ago, lah, right? But still, if you go 150 years ago, and that's very recent compared to the history of human beings, right? I mean, Rasulullah SAW lived on this earth 1,400 years ago. Imagine that, eh? 1,400 years ago was his zaman, right? So 150 years is nothing. It's literally it's a very short period of time. 150 years or 100 years, you go backwards. Right? People were going for Hajj, still on ship or still on foot. Like they walk, even here in Tarim, like if I speak to Hababa, her grandparents walked to Hajj. They walked, right? There were no cars. Right? There were no cars, back then here, especially in other parts of the world. There were no cars. There was no, engine. There was no electricity, right? It was a simple human life, and that was the way it has been for thousands of years. This is a boom that we're watching. They were seeing it's happening in our lifetime, and especially with the internet boom, right? We see it right now. We lived through it. We saw when it appeared, right? I think it was our zaman. I mean, I remember seeing it. I remember seeing it introduced into schools. They brought us to the school lab, the science, the computer lab. This is huge computer that we use. The monitor is so big at the back. The CPU. Right? We our generation saw this boom that happened. And we saw it. And we saw it from being very slow, broad out, not broadband, it has land wire, then you have to connect, then you have this modem, right? You remember these days. This is our lifetime, literally our lifetime. It's not like, in the time of our grandparents, no, it is our lifetime. We saw it happen in our lifetime. And it's scary, right? Because it's of how fast this thing is moving, accelerating towards something that is, intended, and we don't even know what it is. So where are they pushing us to with this boom that's happened, and our children just got born into it, and they're so used with things being, online and wireless. Everything's wireless now. Right? In the past, just even seriously, it is our zaman. Right, just to use a mouse, just to use a mouse and a mouse pad. We had a mouse, the ball, right, the ball under the mouse, and it was wired. You have to connect it, right, to a big CPU and everything. In a few years, like now you have, a Bluetooth mouse, and now not Bluetooth anymore. Now the mouse connects through the Wi-Fi. There's a different type of mouse nowadays if you search, and it's so fast what's going on. So this is the part of the however we study this. We study this huge because it's moving so fast that if we don't study it and we don't take some time and look at it, you fall right into the trap of the devil and the jet. And you do exactly what they want you to do. That's what happened with the TV, the introduction of TV, right? The introduction of television, right? That it happened, and then it got widespread. And in fact, when TV was first introduced, it was not popular. It was not popular. Same thing with the phone. Like when the phone with a camera was first introduced, it was useless. You couldn't do anything with it. It was quite useless. People were not interested in it. But the moment they developed it, right, and they opened up this thing, you know, and with all kinds of programs coming in, then suddenly, from having one channel, right, to now they have satellite, right, and then they have how many channels going on now? Now we have Netflix, which I personally have never touched till today in my life. I don't intend to. I don't want to. Right? But subhanallah, but it's all over the world. People have Netflix, right? Which is, as far as I understand, is basically TV on demand, right? This is what it is, right? TV on demand, right? And it's destroying humanity, it's destroying society, and people are not thinking about it. They're not thinking. Right? Worse than, I don't know whether it's worse or whatever it is, right? But you have YouTube, okay? Whether it's worse than Netflix or not, but you have YouTube as well. And YouTube also has changed the entire feel, or the entire environment, or the entire way that we live, even how we bring up our children, how we have family, how we. So you see how this sudden, developments in society, in technology, how it directly affects our religion, directly affects. Right? It's affecting our salat, it's affecting our akhlaq, it's affecting our iman even. Aqidah is affecting everything, right? Subhanallah. And so to be naive, about this matter, to not want to study it, not want to look into it. So today I was posting up about the muamalat thing. As much as I don't want to look into it, right, about all this cryptocurrency and like don't know what in our zaman, and I don't want to look into it. It is the zaman, and people are looking into it, and people are trying to find out more about it. Right, so I just want to know what is it about, right? It's what's going on, and AI as well. In my university, we are having now courses to study what is AI, right? Exactly what is AI and where is it come from, and what is the purpose of it, right? And how do you use it? Is it a tool, right? It is a tool, yes, right? But to what extent, and what can people do with it, right? And the dangers, and there are very, 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 very major dangers around AI, right? So we don't just consume development, consume technology, consume even theories, culture, right? All of things just blindly, because when we do that, that's when we will fall, into the traps of the Dajjal, because we're not looking, we're not opening our eyes, right? So okay, so just to highlight that, all of what we're going through is within the definition of tahawul, if you can see, and Habib, he mentions very clearly, of changes that happens, like in the life of human beings generally, and specifically in the ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and understand, one of the last The last knowledge of التحولات is to, is to link, events in history to our understanding as Muslims. You can go back to our chapter, chapter number, what chapter are we on? And Muslim chat, chapter number 13. Okay, you can go back to that, Amira. So the last knowledge, inshallah, we will get there. Right, speaks about linking history, right, to what's going on right now, right? And the fact of the matter is, we have to really go back to the Quran and understand that the beginning of this entire affair, this entire world, life of this world, is what Allah told us in the Quran. The first story that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala narrated to us, the story of Nabi Adam and Iblis. Everything goes back to that. Don't be naive. Don't think that none of this is part of the big grand Iblis scheme whereby he has made a promise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he will destroy them. He will come from their front and from their back and from their right and from their left. People who keep denying that these things are evil, these things are out to destroy us. You have not understood the life of this world. Why are we here in the first place? Why were we sent here? What happened? You forgot that entire part. You forgot that whole part of the first enemy, and what he has sworn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to do. Do you think that all of what's going on around us is just for no reason and that he's not behind it? Do you think that? How can that be? Iblis will use every single second on this earth, right, to destroy human beings to the very last human being. So if someone, like, you know what naive is an understatement. Like someone, like someone who has absolutely no understanding of why they are here in the first place. So people would say, no, it's harmless, all these movies, no, it's harmless, all these, music is harmless, all these cartoons. You think Iblis does things for no reason? You think he's just making all these things up just just to to make you have a good time on this earth? Probably he does, make you forget the hereafter, right? Right? People will keep denying it. Then why are these things around us? You these things were just there, just so we have the TV, just so we have YouTube, just so we have social media, just because, right? It's just because it's there. You think what? There's no, the evil forces behind it that is driving it? No, of course not. From the beginning of this entire existence, he's been working hard, Iblis. Right. So it's really, it is, I don't know what word to use right now, whether it's naivety or what it is, but it's to the point of, being completely gullible, or not even gullible, anyway, I don't know what word to use. Basically, like not understanding the matter at all. Right? People who keep denying that these things have evil in them, right? Because basically, and this is a very strong, like lesson in fiqh tahawulat from the beginning of time. Nabi Adam alayhi salam, there are two paths and two paths only: the path of goodness and the path of evil. And everything around you is on one or the other. Everything, everything around you. So if you don't see the way of the Prophet ﷺ in whatever you are doing, then definitely it's on the other path. Definitely, obviously, right? If it's not, in accordance with the Sunnah, and the Quran, then definitely it is on the path of Iblis. Definitely. It's only two paths. This entire world is only two paths. Only two paths, right? Choose. And right now we're at the marhala, or we're at the era whereby the camps are forming. Okay, we're the era whereby the camps are forming, and don't take these things lightly. Right. So I'm beginning this entire third knowledge, right? I actually want to do a lot of research on it. Sorry, to my husband. That because Fiqh is so much for us to go into and to look into, and so much research to do. And it's a very big part of our study in Fiqh to do research. I want to go into a lot of things, right, with regards to this third knowledge, and to really explore, right, and to understand, right, like what are the meanings, right, behind, whatever's happening around us, right, so as to give people clarity, right? How much do how can you consume these things, if you have to consume them, if you have to go to them, and especially, and not so much of inventions, but theories, right? Theories, right? Theories, um, you say movements, like the feminist movement, and we spoke about it early on, like the evil that lies with it, right? About Darwinism, like about even about democracy, right? There's a full study about democracy as well. I take the whole that a lot of things that have been presented to the world as if these things are beautiful and as if they are correct, right? And studied in universities and propagated, placed on the undergraduates and also graduate universities all over the world, right? And then this brainwashing them, right, to embracing a Dajjalic world order. This was going on, all right? And we just lap it up. We just lap it up. We just take it as if it's all haq, as if it's all true. But the only one who tell us what is haq is the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And what is true is Allah and the Prophet is nobody else, right? So to go into the chapter itself, right? So ملخص المستجدات العلوم أي so new knowledges النظرية والتطبيقية. نظرية is theoretical, تطبيقية is applied, applied sciences. So that is, you go into the hard sciences, you go into also into the, I'm not sure it's called soft sciences, but you go into the other sciences or the arts, right? A society, society, in society, psychology, and so on, right? وجديد الثقافة, right? A new culture, right? And in fact, there is a full study of globalization and the globalization of culture, right? In fact, and how this whole thing is to destroy the human being, to remove what is traditional, right? And to replace it and to just basically wash over everything and make everybody the same. Everybody becomes the same. The way they dress, the way they speak, the way they live their life is all the same. It's also all about wealth, all about luxury, is all about it's all about dunya basically. It becomes a dunya culture, a dunyawi culture all over the world, right? And it's disgusting. It is disgusting, right? For me personally, I was talking to my husband about the clock tower, like in Mecca. Like I don't step foot in the clock tower because it's just like, if you just look at it, right, it's a lot of arrogance. It's just a lot. It's reeking with arrogance, right? The whole thing is just arrogance. The Kaaba's right there, and they built this huge, massive thing full of dunya, right? Like a challenge to the Kaaba. Where the Kaaba is a place whereby you focus on your akhirah, you go in there, you contemplate on your life, you do your worship, you do your itikaf, your Quran and everything. And then they do this huge, massive, very ugly dunya structure next to it. I mean, for me, I'm so disgusted by the clock tower. And to pay money to be there, right, is so incredibly disgusting, right? It's just like to show off, to show off, right? Our country has the same thing as with our airport. If a lot of things in our country, that it's just a lot of it is to show off. The whole, not our country. I mean, the whole world. The whole world is about showing off, right? At the expense of what? At the expense of what? Millions of people starving, in hunger, in poverty, and there they are, it's in ugly manner, like showing off their dunya. So disgusting. And so for me, I never step foot in that place. Never step foot in that place. Um, it's disgusting lah. It's disgusting. Okay. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa ri'ani wa ala alih. Now, right. So we're going to go into the first part of this of the chapter. Right. So he says here. Right. So now, and then possible negative discoveries, especially those related to scientific miracles of the secret. Next, we can go to the next part. Namira. Right. So he says here. ويطلق هذا التعريف على كافة علوم الآلة واللغات وعلوم النظرية والتطبيقية القديمة والجديدة، وعلوم الثقافة والفنون والاجتماع السلبية وإيجابية. ويندرج ذلك في قراءة نصوص الآيات والأحاديث المتناولة مظاهر الاختراع والاكتشاف وعلوم الخدمات وتأثيرها في حياة الإنسان، أو ما يسمى بالإعجاز العلمي وفقه المقارنة والمطابقة بين مستجدات علمي والنصوص القرآن والسنة. So this branch, this third knowledge of التحول covers all instrumental sciences, right? So instrumental sciences, like basically it goes into biology, it goes into physics, it goes into engineering, it goes into technology, right? So all of these things, it goes into these things. The Prophet ﷺ have spoken, there is an amount of hadith, right, that speak about developments or technology in the future. He spoke about it, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and of course, all of this in the past is served to increase our yaqeen in our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But in looking at this hadith again, we see how he has warned us. He has warned us, about how technology, right, it will bring it is one of the causes of the breaking down of morality, right, of akhlaq, of righteousness and of religion, right, in the human being. And we can see that, obviously, you can see that. If you go online, if you do statistics, right, which are the websites that are the most popular websites, the most visited websites in the world? You all know? Obviously, do you all know? Right, the most visited websites in the world, and from the Muslim world as well. You know what kind is porn? Is porn. Porn. Porn is the most visited, right? The most popular websites are porn. And not just any porn, children porn. It's how sick our world is. It's how sick the world is. Right? And you know what? A lot of the hits are from Muslim countries. Muslim countries. ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. People go online and they do and they this is the first thing. Like fahsha. Shaitan loves fahsha. He loves fahsha. What's fahsha? In indecencies. He loves it. He shoves it down, the eyes of adult human beings and children. And he starts off with children as well. And so people who have given your children devices, really, you need if you choose that path to give them devices, then please, instill in them taqwa. Instill them in taqwa and awareness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like because even adults are guilty. So many adults have porn addictions and children porn addictions. This is how sick it is, eh? How sick it is. Right? And child porn is like at because it's oppression on every level, right? Subhanallah. So human beings, they develop themselves, they have all this technology, and what do? It's kind of lowly things. It's not just lowly, it's worse than being animalistic. It's even worse than that, right? It's shaitanic what they're doing, right? So it's what human beings do lah. Right. So if you look at technology, yes, there is benefit in technology. Right now we are teaching online, right? But the huge part of technology is all evil, right? The huge part of technology is evil, and especially with the spread of culture, spread of ideologies, happens through what? Technology, right? Very quick, spread and destruction, of culture and ideology, right, amongst the Muslims, right? So there's instrumental sciences, languages, right? The development of languages, modern and more theoretical and applied sciences, right? So in our zaman, theoretical, it goes into psychology, right? It goes into evolution, right? It goes into these different types of sciences, right? So a lot of it is still theory, right? Theory, but presented as if they are facts. They are not facts, right? They are theory, right? They're called theoretical sciences for a reason. They're not real. They're still theory, right? Culture, art, and sociology, right? Whether they are negative or positive, right? There's a full study of this. So of course, Tahura does not just dismiss all forms of developments in human being, just because they're developments and then dismiss all of them as evil. No, a huge part of it is evil. It is definitely a huge part, right? But there is the benefit, and there is goodness, in it, because at the end of the day, these things are tools. Right? They are tools, right? It's just that the ones who invented them are the servants of Dajjal and Shaitan. And therefore, a lot of it is being used, right, in the service of Dajjal and Shaitan. But these are tools nonetheless, and they can be used, right, in the way of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, in the way of Islam. Right? They can be done. right? So, which we are seeing here, lah. So then it goes back to what? It goes back to taqwa. It goes back to self-discipline, right? It goes back to that, right? And really, the entire impact of social media has not been studied. That right now they're trying to study some of it. The impact of social media, the impact of of the entire the world of screens. Right now we're in that world of screens. Literally, it happened in the past 50 years, this and that, 30 years, this entire screen environment of this dunya. And so that we, as a species, as a generation, as human beings, have not done much any research whatsoever on this. And our children will suffer the impact of it, right? How many of us have actually you know that you actually actively look, right, for research, on this and the impact of this, especially on young children. See articles here and there, right? You see articles here and there, some research here, some research there, right? But how many of us actually look into the matter before we hand it to our children? And how many of us actually think about this? We don't. We don't. We just take it and we just use it, right? You don't think of how this is, developed to strip the human being of the iman, right? And when now they're thinking about it, right? Now they're looking at it because they're seeing the negative effects now. They're seeing the negative effects now, right? But the kids are hooked. They're already hooked. Right? How are they going to ban? Right? They're going to try. They're going to try. I know a lot of countries are now looking into the matter because they're seeing the effects of it now. Now, after after flooding the kids with it, and then now even in schools will put the kids on it. Schools, right? So some schools they make the kids have iPads. They make the kids have it, right? So after flooding the kids with it, now they wait, hold on, this is not good. Why do we do that? Not thinking, no studies, no research, nothing. Just use all this stuff. Then now they're seeing the impact, and at the expense of our children, unfortunately, right? That's on a country level, the individual, the family, the home, the parents. Like how many parents still don't want to believe that these devices destroy their children. Either they don't want to believe it, or they just, I don't know what it is. Right? I'm not sure how they cannot believe it, or they just don't want to think about it because it's so convenient as a babysitter, right, for their children. They don't want to think of how this sitting in front of the screen the entire time and watching videos of the videos. They don't want to see that this is destroying the children. They don't want to, right? Subhanallah, may Allah make us wake up and to this matter. So this is the entire science of it, how like, this part, and whereby we are made to study and to understand and to look, right, into all these very quick developments and not just take them, and use them for our family without thinking, right? Without thinking. Yeah, some parents, like Allah, I don't understand parents who give young children the smartphone. They own their own smartphone, their own iPad. Why? If you need your child to contact you, first and foremost, if they are below the age of, I say 10, for example, right? 7, 8, 9, they're not supposed to be going anywhere themselves, right? Do you allow your kids to go anywhere themselves at the age of 7 and 8 or 9? I hope not. I really hope not. I mean, if they go, I mean, and if they're not going anywhere themselves, I mean, really, we lived as human beings without the phone for generations. All of us, we did, we just wait for your parents, when, after school, just wait for them. I just wait. And if you really need to contact them, there are always adults around you, right, who can always help you out, right? And you can, like, if you're in school, you can ask a teacher, can you call my mother? Give them your phone number to keep to carry around. Can you call my mother? My mother is not here. That kind of thing, subhanallah, right? So it's really, um, think about it, and get this kind of phones that nowadays they have this kind of like, where no internet connection. Are they bringing them back? I hope they're bringing them back. So you don't have to have. They don't need a smartphone. Why do they need a smartphone? Why? To do what? Right? To do what? What? Business or classes or whatever that they need a smartphone for. right? It's for especially for primary schoolers. Right? So just really, all that. So this, as you mentioned, this science goes into a lot of things. It goes into a lot of matters, and we can, and the discussion is really never ending because there's so many things appearing in our zaman, right? So you can talk every angle, and really is a, like he will say, is a very big hole, right, to go into and do it. And but we have to research and look into this matter, right, so that we don't end up giving the fire, right, to our own families and for ourselves to consume the fire as well, right? So now, right. This comes from developments in knowledge, right, and also with the development in technology and knowledge being spread across countries and across borders, right. This causes for a even faster development, right, in knowledge and also in invention. So if one country appears with an invention very quickly, within the week, it's really within the week, you'll find other countries having it very quickly. Right? This is why it's so fast paced in our zaman because of technology. Right? Because if one country comes up with it, suddenly if you all remember when the iPhone appeared, do you all remember when it appeared? What year was it? The first iPhone appeared. Right. But very quickly you find other companies, into smartphones, moving into touch phones, moving into very quickly, and they abandoned whatever they were doing, right? Because someone came up with it. So now everybody is going to have the same technology, right? So then you have Android and you have, all these things. And now everything is touchscreen, subhanallah, right? To the point that now our children, they think that everything is touchscreen. And they try and touchscreen everything. Not everything is touchscreen, right? But because now everything around them is touchscreen, right? They just so used to things being touchscreen, all the time. Subhanallah. Right. So it is this is the fastest of it. Right. The understanding of culture. Okay, I want to speak a bit about this, right? The understanding of ulum al-thaqafa, right? Understanding of culture. Right. This comes from a few things. All right. So this, right, first and foremost, it comes from an admiration of cultures that, or of people, right, that other human beings perceive to be the most forward of human beings. Right. That's the first thing. An admiration. It begins with an admiration. Right? So in the past, when the Muslims were the most forward, right, in the time of the Ottomans, even before that, during the Abbasid period, right, the Muslims were the most foremost in technology and also in inventions. Right? The West admired the Muslims, and they would copy the way of dress of the Muslims. Right? They would copy, right, the way the Muslims were, and Arabic became a language for people to study, Muslims and non-Muslims, right, because of admiration. Right? They admired, and they admired them. So now it's all flipped over. It's all flipped over, right? And that now you find that in the West that they are having all this development and high standard of living and whatsoever. Then you find the Muslims trying to copy them, right, and trying to be like them, and trying to dress like them and speak like them, right? And it's seen as progress, right, for them to go that way. And so they abandon, what our religion has called us to, right? And they're looking to be more like what these people are. But these people are the people of dunya, and they will only lead us down a terrible path if you follow them. Because we are supposed to be people of the akhirah, right? Right. So subhanallah, right? So Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad, right? And so this culture and the shift in culture, the globalization of culture, right? The westernization of the world that is happening right now in our zaman. Right? Not exactly you say that the westernization, you will say like the world taking on angelic culture. And what is a Dajjalic culture? It is basically a secular culture, and that remove religion from public space. This has happened. That has happened, right? And they are removing religion from public space, and soon they will remove it from private space, where people will no longer be. They make it so difficult to implement the religion. That is why those who hold on to the religion in that zaman, Rasulullah has described them to be like people holding on to coal, right? Because they will literally be suffocated to a corner. That is not yet our zaman yet. We're not there yet. Alhamdulillah. We're not there yet. It's moving there, right? It is moving there. And you can tell this from the hadith of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam that the only ones who will survive when that zaman comes are those who are very strong in their iman. They have to be the strongest of the strong, of people of iman. And that is why the hadith comes that one of them are like 70 of you, right? Are like 70 when the hadith goes, one of them are like 70, and the Sahaba said 70 of them or 70 of us. And Rasulullah said 70 of you, right? You Sahaba, one of them in that zaman. That zaman is not here yet. We're not there yet. Alhamdulillah. We're still in a zaman whereby we can practice our religion comfortably. Most parts of the world, no one's going to kill you, for being Muslim. No one's going to kill you for praying 5 times a day, right? But the zaman will come, right? So right now, our role right now, as Muslims, our role as the generation of today, right, preparing the nation of generation is to get them to be strong. I get them to be strong on religion. That's why it's so urgent right now to not allow them to consume popular culture. That is why it's so urgent, right? Because the more they consume a popular culture, the weaker their religion gets, the weaker their iman gets. And so, and maybe not them, maybe their children or their grandchildren or their grandchildren, somewhere along the line will face the zaman whereby majority of human beings will not have a religion. The majority of human beings will turn away from God as a whole, the majority. And those who try to hold on to religion will be a very small group, and they are the best of the best. You get me? Right? So if you want to play the game Dungeons and Dragons, and there's dragons and monsters and demon beings involved, I say no, not allowed. It's not okay. It's not okay. It's not okay to play computer games in the first place. Any computer games, right? Unless you have like some Islamic games out there. I'm not so sure if they exist. Like, but any computer games like this kind of things is not. It will destroy your iman. Don't think these things were created so that you become a better Muslim. No, right? See, everything around you, right, of inventions, you can hold on to this principle. Everything around you of inventions is either on the path of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam or on the path of Shaitan. It's one or the other. There is no third path. It's one or the other. So you see the game, Dungeons and Dragons. Can you tell me whose path is this? Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam or Shaitan? It has to be one or the other. Cannot have there's no third path. There's no neutral path. Tell me. You can answer your own question. Tell me. This game, by the name of the game, Dungeons and Dragons. Whose path is this? Where will it lead you to? Paradise or hellfire? The name of the game. Just the name of the game. Yeah, I want your answer. I want your answer. Obvious answer. What's the answer? Just by looking at it. Of course, shaitan, right? Of course, shaitan. I highly doubt Rasulullah taught us, to play games with dragons and monsters and demon figurines inside of them, right? I don't think he would like it at all. If he was there in front of you, would you do it? No. The answer is no, right? Definitely the hellfire, definitely. So everything you see around you is on one of the two paths, is on one of the two paths. And teach your children this. Everything, because Shaitan had his made a vow from the beginning of time. Don't think he's going to allow for things to be developed. And in fact, all these developments are under his ishraf, like his monitoring. Of course, they are under his monitoring, Shaitan. Like he's the CEO of the entire thing, right? And he's watching the whole thing. And so don't think that all things are happening without his watch. It's all under his watch, Shaitan. Right? Don't be naive. Don't think these things are harmless. You think Shaitan will have these things happen in the society of human beings and have them popular without his stake in it? Do you think that? Do you think Shaitan is that lousy as a Shaitan? He's a very, he's good at what he does. And he's a master Shaitan. He knows what he's doing. Anything that becomes popular, his stake is in it. He's right there. It's just that he's disguising it. and that we so don't even think about it, give it to our children and play with it. We don't care. It's popular. The more popular it is, the more I would say be wary, right? The more because you see, the best way to destroy human beings is to go to what is popular because the majority of human beings are in it. That's why it's called popular, right? And that's why popular culture, right? It should ring a lot of alarm bells in you, right? And that is why it comes to the hadith also that Islam began strange, and it will go back to being strange. So good news to the strangers, right? Strangers meaning what? You're going to be a minority and a very very small minority, which means what? Popular culture is not what you want to be. You don't want to go to popular culture, right? Because there's a majority. Just by the fact that something that is something the majority are involved in. Just by that fact, the majority of kids are playing this. The majority of kids are doing that. The majority of human beings are doing this or doing that. The majority of them are doing it. Just by that condition, it should raise your alarm bells already. That the majority are doing it, especially if they are mindless and mindless things that then there has zero benefit for humanity and zero benefit for the individual. There's nothing for the individual. Right. So, subhanAllah, my strongest advice to all of us here, Allah, for the kids around us is not to give them any of this games. Don't give them. Don't begin them in the first place. I know they'll find it in school. That's why you have to begin your talk and your advising of them and building the taqwa. But it starts from very young. I know some of you have older kids already, wahalas, they're already into it. But you need to have them hear all these things. Because the situation is urgent. We are at the place whereby the those who are religious are getting more religious, and those who are irreligious are getting worse and worse and becoming wretched. And the two camps are forming. We are in that zaman. It has been identified by our teachers. We're in that zaman, whereby the two camps are forming. Right. So beware. Right. Beware and be careful. And don't take things lightly. Right. So now, right. So um, I don't know what is that. Like figurines and the pin 3D things. Is what is a Squid Game thing? Like it's really even just to the name of it, right? The names of these things, Squid Game, should put you off, you know, right? Shouldn't it? It should put you off. It sounds disgusting. It does sound disgusting, Squid Game. What in the world? Like it does sound disgusting. I don't even go into it. Don't. And it's of course it's full of all kinds of it's definitely not on the path of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? So you have your skill there, right? On the path of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam or on the path of shaitan. Obviously, path of shaitan, right? Khalas. Right. So but it has to be a nurturing from the beginning. It has to be a nurturing from the beginning, right? So that they see it, they know to stay away from it. And for us as well, ourselves as well, are we still watching all this stuff? Are we still doing all this stuff? What are we doing with our gadgets, right? So we ask ourselves. Tamam. Right. So now, right. So the first thing first with regards to taking in the culture of another, another people or the globalization of culture, it comes with admiration. The first thing first, it comes with admiration. There's an admiration for these things, admiration for Hollywood, admiration for the Korean culture, admiration for these Korean pop groups, these jazz pop groups, admiration, admiration of the agents of the Dajjal, and admiration. Right, this is the danger, and this admiration comes in because they were not nurtured from the very beginning to admire righteousness and uprightness from the very beginning. So there's a vacuum there. There's this emptiness in the human being when they don't know how to admire the righteous human beings of the past and even of the present. There are many righteous human beings. They don't know how to admire these human beings. And so they go on and they admire people of the dunya, and that will destroy them and destroy those who are around them. right? And so therefore they copy the character of these people. They copy, and you see with regards to Hollywood, right? Right, a full admiration. The thing, you see, for example, the Ellen show. Okay, the Ellen show. I know many people who like watch her and they follow her, love her, and everything. And she's lesbian, right? She's lesbian, openly lesbian, right? Without any care to show her that she has a wife, right? She's married to a woman, right? She's open lesbian. How many Muslims stopped watching her? If they say they didn't know, then they found out, right? Yeah. And you see, they make her so attractive, right? But she's a champion for homosexuality, right? She's championing the entire cause. So they make her so attractive that people really like her. This makes them accept the entire homosexual culture, right? And now, if you look around you, if you go into this is the entire role of celebrities. The entire role of celebrities is normalize what is ugly and disgusting, the nature of the human being. They normalize it. Like I was doing some research on modesty and the collapse and the destruction of modesty in society, not just amongst Muslims, but worldwide, worldwide. And it began from where? Guess what? It began from Hollywood. Of course, it began from Hollywood. Of course, it began from Hollywood, right? They were the first to introduce, clothing that were above the knees. In the past, women would wear their clothing down to their ankles in America, and they're non-Muslim women, but they're Christians, and would not have, their sleeves above their elbows, and they would not have their skirts above their ankles, right? So who began doing it? Hollywood. Hollywood began doing it, and Hollywood began popularizing it, right? And then people just watch it and just absorb everything. Right? Same thing with zina. Same thing with having very very loose relationships between men and women. Right? Same thing. All of this come from where? The media having. And you see, if you look at the cartoons, right? I would say every single cartoon, and that was when I was young, right? There was confirmed have a story of like the best friends in the cartoon having crushes on each other, right? The girl and the boy having, like something going on at all. Right? Every single one of them. This Nickelodeon, all of them will have BGR in there. And now even worse, he goes into lesbianism and gayism, homosexuality. Right? And this is how they're gonna pump it. They're gonna we let our kids watch this. Now books even halas, and now you will see it come. You will see it come. Every single book for children will have homosexuality. Every single book is coming. It has already come, eh? I think it's already come. You will say every single series will have something homosexual in it. Right? They will do it, right? Subhanallah. Right. So really, we need to be aware, be wary. And of course, all of these things, right? First and foremost, the first thing is to block it as far as you can. But you live in the dunya, right? You need to educate, right? Blocking is one thing. Blocking will not work for a long time if you don't educate. You need to educate so they can make decisions for themselves to stay away from it. Right? They make decisions for themselves. That's the thing, lah. You have all of us. We have a role right now. We have a very big role to speak to people, and don't speak in a way whereby you argue. Allah in the Quran says to Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, call them, right? Call them, right? If a good calling, a beautiful calling, right? Ma'udatin hasana, right? A good calling, right? And if you have to debate with them beautifully, don't have it be an ugly debate. No, just speak about it. Be calm. Ask Allah first and foremost, right? In the dead of the night, every night, ask Allah to open up their hearts. We're not doing enough dua for in our tahajjud for the people that we love around us, right? This is so important, right? Right? Make dua. Ask Allah because I can say that I think majority probably we also watched it when we were younger. We grew up on it. And now we're choosing to pull away from it. We're choosing this, right? Choosing this, yeah, we are choosing to pull away from it. What happened? Allah opened up our hearts. right? To realize the truth, right? How many of us here, when you were younger, you were into music, you were into movies, you went to cinemas, you watched all this stuff. Many of us, right? Many of us. What happened? Education. We got woken up. We woke up right to the mess, and now we don't want it anymore. We don't want it for our children. There are people who are still in it. They are still in it. Right? Grandparents are watching Hollywood and Netflix and Bollywood. Right? So so there has to be conversation. You need to start conversation. Right? Go out there and just destroy all the TV sets and off things and upset people. No, but have sincere conversation. No, can even call like for a family meeting or family gathering and then share. Say, I've learned all these things and I've learned, the dangers of this. And we need to think about it as Muslims. We are all Muslims. We are all Muslims. Right. So even so the non-Muslims are also having alarm bells, set off. And the non-Muslims who don't believe in the hijab, they see the damage on their children and they are not choosing it for their children. Right? What more people who believe in the hereafter, ya Allah. Right. So think about it. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to open up hearts and ask Allah to grant you a way. Right? Grant you a way, teach you how to do this, how to speak. Right? Stop, just to say, how do you do this? How do you speak? Right? So, I think I mentioned before there was once I had when I was in Syria, right? They were like some people that I was living with, right? They were playing Monopoly deal, right? In the 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. This was before I came to Tarim, so I was teaching of Arabic language, didn't know much, right? But I knew enough to know that the 10 days of Dhul Hijjah are days of worship. Okay, I knew that. I knew that, right? So, and they were playing the entire day. No Monopoly deal, Monopoly deal, the entire day they were playing it, right? Because the school give us off from the first of Dhul Hijjah to the 10th of Dhul Hijjah, even after that, right? It will be all public holidays in Syria back then, right? So basically, and I was somebody, I'm not even related to them, we're all just roommates. So I just said to them, if it's okay, I want to speak to everybody. I want to speak, I want to talk, like in a calm manner. So not while they're doing it and you off it, I say, once you finish your game, you can tell me, I want to speak to you all, right? And I spoke, and I said that when the tennis was Dhul Hijjah, I don't have that much knowledge at the time. I don't no, I don't have that much knowledge. But I do know the 10 days of Hijjah are very sacred days, and we should be doing Quran, and we should be doing ibadah, we should be doing istighfar, we should be doing la ilaha illallah. I do know that these are sacred days, right? So start from there, right? So you can start maybe Ramadan, before Ramadan comes in. It's an opportunity, right now. Before Ramadan comes in, gather the family. That is what Rasul did, following his way, while following his way. He gathered his family. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when he first was going to announce that he's a prophet. He gathered family. Of course, he got shot down by Abu Lahab. Straight away, he got shot down. But think to yourself, this is the path of the Prophet. He did that, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He did that. He gathered the family. He gathered his relatives, his family. He put up a meal for them. Right? He had a meal that he had called them to. The first time he did it, Abu Lahab, he knew was going to happen. He got everyone to leave before Rasulullah could speak. He did that. Abu Lahab. Did it stop our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? No, he did not. He did it again. He called them again. Right? And then he did his da'wah. He spoke to them while they were eating. He spoke to them. Right? And no one responded to him. You know how difficult that is? Nobody responded to him. The only person who stood up and said, I will support you, Ya Rasulullah, was Ali, and he was 10. That was the only person who stood up, and supported the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the effort. How difficult is this? Right? Yes, it's difficult. No one ever said it was going to be easy. No one ever says, he was alone, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And thereafter, when he called all the tribe at Jabal Safa, he stood at Safa and Marwa, he stood at Safa, and he called the tribes, and they all gathered around him. It was such an urgent meeting that people would send their slaves to go and hear on their behalf because of the urgency that he made it, sound like. He said, everyone, come to me, at Safa, come to me, come to me. He called people. They were what? Drunkards, they were educators, they were worshiping their idols, they were doing the worst of sins. Called them and bravely said to them. Bravely was this is just being brave, eh? Being brave. He had to say it. He said, I am a prophet sent to you to warn you of a grievous day that's coming. I'm warning you. And then who stood up and shot him down? Uncle, tabalat. He said, he said, curses to you. The word tab is like a very foul word to say to someone, curses to you. Right? For this you told us, wasted our time. Can you imagine that if you did that, and you called the family together and you say, what, Ramadan's coming. You know, um, I really, really want to just say something sincerely from the depths of my heart. I love you all very much. You are my family. You are my siblings. You are my parents. Right? I really love our children, my nephews, my nieces, all of you. I love you very, very much. Ramadan is coming. I want to try and if we can as a family this Ramadan, just switch off Netflix, switch off games, right? Talk to the children. All of these things will destroy us and destroy our Ramadan. You will ruin us. Like, can we try? Can we try to be better and be close to Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Speak to them. And can you imagine if you have done all that and someone in your family, nonsense. Uh-uh. That's Abu Lahab, Abu Lahab kind of situation, right? That's basically exactly what he did, right? Didn't stop the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Didn't stop him. And in fact, you should comfort yourself and say, that's the sunnah of da'wah. That's the sunnah of da'wah. To be shot down like that, like to be run over, to be dismissed. He was dismissed so many times, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Never stopped him, right? Do it. Do it. Use Ramadan as an opportunity to start doing it. Right? Then Zulhijjah. Right? Look at the months of Islam. That's why Habib Abu Bakr, he would always encourage us to bring to life this munasabat, the munasabat. These are very important days of Islam, right? Because it brings us back and it gives you a reason. It gives you a reason, right, to say something to people. You're going to a new phase, right? So Ramadan, take the opportunity. Right now, Rajab is actually a very good opportunity to do it, right? Or mid Sha'ban, have a gathering with the family, mid Sha'ban, this is Sha'ban, right? Do your things together. Then talk to people. You don't have to be an ustaz for people. Just have to be someone who loves and cares for others. To talk to them. Can we do that? There's 70 of us here. Like, can we do that? And especially if you have another sibling or family member who's on board with you, if there's someone else who is on board, it's in fact a bit easier. But if you're the only one, then but speak to them in the most beautiful way. I speak about your concern, speak about your love. I don't target people, don't run people down. The last thing you want is for people to be defensive, okay, of what they're doing. Right? If you show sincerity to them and your love for them, right? Most people will not be as ugly as Abu Lahab, right? And shoot others down when they're in that state. Right? When you speak to someone in full sincerity and not judging, but you're saying we all want to do this together. Can we try to do this together? Right? Try to do this together. Right? Bismillah. Okay. And you can even say, what rules should we have on ourselves? Okay. How about the whole month of Ramadan? Okay. All the teenagers here and the kids here. Okay. How about we say no, like no music, for example, if you're listening to music, no music to have Ramadan, okay? No movies, okay, no movies, okay. No comedies, no comedies. Okay. We can try things out. Okay. Then what should we do? Right. That's why I have my Ramadan series, right? Right. Learn the Quran. Yeah, my Ramadan series all free. You can just go online. Right? You can hear last year's one as well. Right? So all the nephews been bugging me about one of the stories that I told last year Ramadan that I didn't finish apparently. I'm like, what story? I don't know which story I didn't finish. He's been bugging me every single time he sees me. Right? You can do that, right? And in fact, you know what? Right now on YouTube, so many organizations are doing things for children. Right. I mean, so many. I see it so many under Celebrate Mercy, under Guidance, under so many of our the people doing that online, doing things for children. So many. Right. It's just a matter of directing them. Okay. And honoring Ramadan. Let's honor Ramadan. But it has to come from a voice of care and love and not scolding. Don't sound like you're scolding anyone. But sound that you want this for everybody to try. Okay? And each other, so when you lay out the foundation, then when Ramadan comes in, now you can say to people, should we off this? It's Ramadan. Remember what we said we were going to do? So you can start, you can base your advice thereafter on what you agreed upon, right? As a family, right? So remember, and you can even put like, a thing on the TV or whatever on the screen that only Islamic stuff can be watched, right? The Mecca channel is on. You can always watch the Kaaba and Quran is playing. There is also the Medina channel. You can always get that as well. You can hear hadith, continuously if you want to just watch something on the screen. Just watch the Kaaba, okay, if you want to. You can do that, right? So I hope I'm giving you all ideas, okay? Right. So I know that which is why it has to be talk. You have to talk. You have to talk, right? Talk, right, to people and show your love for them. That is the way of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, tamam. Okay, so this Ramadan, like, you're gonna make changes, all right? Gonna make changes, and with strong intentions, it will continue past Ramadan. Maybe after Ramadan, Shawwal, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. The what's the thing they always do? The in the Malaysian TV, it's played everywhere on the first of Shawwal. What is it thing called? Salam something, right? There's this thing that they do in Malay TV. Every Shawwal, they have this like lawak. This comedy going on. I don't know what it's called. But every house you go to, they're playing this thing, right, on the TV and Shawwal. Yes, Salam Lebaran is this thing. I don't know why people when no one watches it. Are they not watching it? They just blast it, right? Subhanallah. Maybe when you go to house, just, if you're the only one there and if you can speak to the people, they say, can we off the thing? This talk as family. We came to visit and we came to visit, right? So I know some households, they'll put on a Disney cartoon to entertain the children, right? And then you're like, to your horror, you're like, oh no, my kid's gonna watch that now, right? Now maybe try and talk, say, I want my kids to get to know you all, to get to know the older people of this household. That's why we didn't come to watch cartoons, but we came to get to know who is who. And then if it became stories amongst the family, the older folk, if they tell stories, you can explain to your children, because now kids need to have English translation for Malay, right? Right, but you can explain to them, what they're saying, and say, yeah, this is one, and in the sense, you can create bonds, mashallah. So anyway, alhamdulillah. Right, so we went into all of that about the thaqafah, about the culture. It takes effort, it takes a lot of work. Rasulullah SAW came to remember, but always remind yourself. Okay, alhamdulillah. Sorry, my internet cut off. Right, so I was saying that with Rasulullah, for us to understand, right, that he came to Mecca, right, when the people were at worst, in their culture and their way of living. They were at the really the worst human beings could be. Right? There was no, the rich oppressed the poor, the powerful, oppressed the weak. Right? There was fornication, there was drinking, there was every ill of society. I was widespread in Mecca when he came, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he transformed that. And we are the ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, if we can't stand up to the matter, who else would do it, right? So, inshallah. Okay, alhamdulillah. I think we have questions here, right? Inshallah. Um, yeah, I have a question here. Okay, alhamdulillah. Remind yourself, it is the way of da'wah. It is the way of da'wah. Just remind yourself that it was never easy for Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. In fact, majority of his family didn't believe, like for him. So us, at least they're believers, okay? At least they're believers, right? Subhanallah. Ya Allah. Ya Allah, protect our children, Ya Allah. We are in a zaman that really guard over your children. Really guard over your children. Okay. Okay. Question, Muna.
Hello.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Oh, Waalaikumsalam. She Sifa, I want to ask you something. Today we heard, you just heard about Ustazah Fahana, right? She talked about the culture, right? Hello.
Yes, 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 yes. You talk
The
about,
popular
spoke
culture.
about culture. Yes.
Yeah, I want to ask you. Okay lah. So after being friends with you and cousins with you, I'm trying to change. So I don't want to play all this, the nonsense cartoons for my kids. But then recently, my kids go to school. In the kindergartens, they play these songs. The other day my child came back and sang like Coco Melon song and then sang like um what else the other trend Coco Melon and Baby Shark old school, but they sing all these popular culture songs like in kindergarten they play it during their rest time. Then how? You know like it's so mainstream that even sometimes Muslim kindergarten also have like that. What do we do?
Yeah,
How,
that's the
how
thing
do
lah.
we how do we
That's why.
approach this?
So the thing about it is that Labu is a song now. It's a Labu song right now. Astaghfirullahalazim.
Lovable
Right.
song.
So basically, all of these things, right? Yeah, apparently there's a Labubu song. Someone just said there's a Labubu song. Okay, with regards to nursery rhymes, okay. So like all okay, nursery rhymes, the old like for example, Wheels on the Bus. Okay, that one harmless Wheels on the bus, go on and on, right? That one is harmless. You can see that one is harmless. Right, but the more popular ones, like right now in our zaman, but even then also, Yani, I would replace them, right? And give them. There are a lot of Islamic tunes nowadays. There's this YouTube channel that was what's it called? Kids something, right? They have a lot of tunes there. What's it called? Kids something. Let me see. Kids uh
YouTube Kids
song
No.
song. YouTube Kids, is it? Let's see. They have like nice songs on there, the Bismillah songs and I forgot what they're called. It's a kids thing. I forgot what it's called. Never mind, it's okay. I forgot what it's called. Right. So, but is it the mini Muslims? Is it the mini Muslims? Yeah, I think it's the mini Muslims. I don't look through all these things because sometimes because at the end of the day, right, we need to give alternatives, right? Because the attraction is very real and very strong, right? So if to come off completely and to not give them any tunes and any songs to go by, right? You're just forming a form of vacuum, right? Whereby when people do introduce to them all this stuff, they run to it. You get me? And they run to it and then they absorb it, they just absorb it, right? So Allahu Alam about the older tunes. I don't know much about it. I have to go and look into this, like the Wheels on the Bus, what Twinkle Twinkle the Star, all this. These are old school necessary rhymes. And for all we know, we don't know what is behind them. We don't know. Right? Allahu Alam. Right? But I know that they have, changed them into becoming more Islamic. There are those, like they will say, um, I know that there was an effort in the past. There was an effort to try and change the songs to become more Islamic. Right? But I would say the songs of today, and the songs of today, especially songs from Disney, especially songs from Disney, songs from Frozen, songs from all these princesses songs, all of this, all of the songs, especially the songs. It's not all like I would say completely you need to try and not allow them to sing it, right, or to listen to it. If they find it in schools, that is the issue of school. You cannot avoid it. If they go on to school, they go on to kindergarten, they go on to primary school thereafter, they will be exposed to even worse. That's the whole thing about school, right? So when they come home, and when they come home, you need to do a lot of, undoing of the damage, right? And to try and, pull them towards what is pure, and towards things, which is why there has to be the replacement, because they are being fed with all these things in school. And so there has to be this replacement, and to also show them, right, that that these things are evil. They are evil. They have a Baby Shark version. There's a thing like many Muslims had some good songs there. Then now, okay, Baby Shark. People might not and see it, but Baby Shark is that it has all the indications of there being something evil in it. Allah alam, what is the evil? But it has the indications. What are the indications? Suddenly very popular and for no reason, right? Think about it. Baby Shark became so popular, right? So much merchandise everywhere on Baby Shark. But I would not almost, it has zero educational value. What is it, right? It's just a tune. It's a tune that they're doing over and over and over and over again. That's addictive. So all red lights, eh? They're all red lights. So what's the evil about it? We don't know. Because Dajjal works in that way. He puts his evil in under all these things, right? We don't know what he's doing to our children, right? We don't know what these tunes are doing. Particular tune that is a dark tune. What is it doing to the soul of our children? We don't know. What we do know is what the tune of Quran and Salawat and Zikr, then how this builds the soul of our children. We know that one, right? So I don't know now about now that I see that many Muslims have a Bishop version. Go talk to them. Like. The thing about Tahawala is unless you study it, you won't know. You won't know about popular culture, right? And you won't know to stay away from it, right? So I was talking to my cousin, yeah, she was like, if you went for Victor Howland, she would not see any problem in Harry Potter, right? Because it's not lewd, there's no like sexual scenes, there's no violence going on somewhat, right? It's all, sorcery and magic, it seems, harmless, but it's harmful. It's harmful. It's an aggrandization of sorcery and magic, right? So only with when you study fiqh you begin to see all these things. And you begin to see that no, we don't accept all these things, right? That is why we don't blame these organizations for doing what they do, right? That masjids, kindergarten masjids, so on. They're trying to be attractive. They're trying to be attractive to the youth, to children, but they are taking, from the elements that were produced by the Dajjalic world. Get me? It's danger there. Big, major danger there, right? That is why this knowledge has to be spread because most people don't know. They don't know. They don't know. These things are to stay away from, right? So mm, you can use a tune and say Alif on the bus, Alif on the bus. You can try, mashallah, work for it, mashallah, right? So when they hear, I know, it is a lot on the parents to talk to your children because if you're gonna send them to school, they will be exposed to all of these things. You can't stop it. They will be exposed. If you need to send them to school, or send them to childcare, or send them to kindergarten, whatever, they will be exposed. You cannot run away from this at all, at all. You can't, right? So what you can do is speak to them. Okay, speak to them. Ya Allah, right? The question on what age to send your kids to kindergarten, I would say no age. If I had kids, I would educate my own kids. I would not send them to kindergarten. Okay, if you have to go to school, if you have to go to work, if you have to go to work, and you need them to be under some form of childcare while you are at work. If you're a homemaker, you're a housewife, I would say keep them home. Keep them home. Have a tartib. Have a timetable. I know some mothers they feel overwhelmed having their kids around them all the time. First and foremost, you don't know how lucky you are to have children. That's the first thing. I understand first thing. They are a blessing in your life. How many people desire to have children? That's the first thing, right? If you feel overwhelmed with your children around you all the time, that means you're not scheduling. You're not scheduling. You need to start scheduling. Have a schedule, right? Put out, write down like what to do every day. And when you have a schedule, you will feel better in what you want to achieve every single day. Schedule in your children in their education. Right? Basically, what a childcare can do, you can if you're a homemaker, right? Whatever kindergarten can do, you can do it. You can, you can, right? If you have to go to work, it's a different thing. If you have to go to work and you need to find some form of childcare for your children, right? Then I would say push it back as far as you can, right? I would say push it back as far as you can. Push it back as far as you can, if you can. I mean, I would recommend it for mothers. If you can stay at home, stay at home, especially in this growing up is right. If you can stay at home till the age of 5, they'll be good. Age of 7, they'll be great, right? Till older, they'll be very good, right? Um, as young as 3, what you will see with children is that a lot of them they go into like they are unable to leave their parents at the age of 3. I think majority of people will face this. You try to put your kids in childcare at the age of 3, you find a lot of resistance because it's natural at that age to feel unsafe with people who are not their parents. It's a natural feeling at the age of 3. All right. Right. So I think you all have experienced that, as parents. And then you think to yourself again and again, is this okay? Is this not? I don't know. And you wonder, right? And you wonder. Right. The thing about if you see you're trained to teach like the kindergarten teachers, it can be learned. It's your children. You don't need training to be a kindergarten teacher. You don't need training. You just need to be compassionate and gentle and very, very patient. And in fact, some kindergarten teachers just don't have that. They don't have that, some of them. Some of them are just, fresh out of, you know, school with zero experience with children. Right? So don't say to yourself, I don't have the training. I don't have any training myself in teaching kids, but I teach them. I have zero. I'm not from NIE. I have no teachers training whatsoever for myself, right? But we know the way of the Prophet. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He was gentle. He was kind. He was patient with children. Look at how he was. That's all the thing you need, honestly. That's all the training you need. Learn his life. Like go into all this talks on prophetic parenting. Learn about that. And structure something for them. Right? Maybe we should have a course, on how I can, teach my own children from a very young age. You should have a course. And just put up a structure. And I think it's really being done. It's really being done in all this, parenting groups. You can do it. I would say as far as you can, keep them home. As far as you can, keep them home. Right. If your child once a week also cry. Right. As far as you can, keep them home. Okay. Like if like for example, age of 5, yes, age of 5 you can kind of put them out. And if there has to be a separation, they can take it. Age of 5, 6 around there. But 3, Penny is very young. And I would think that those who give put their kids in childcare at age of 3 is only because you have to work. Not because you're home and you want break from your kids. Okay? I hope it's not for a reason, right? I hope it's because you have to go to work and you have not a choice, you have to earn a living, right? Then you take this option. But if you are home, right, then be their teacher, right? It's not what other human beings can do, you can do too. Understand that, right? Inshallah. Okay, I have a class to go to. Barakallahu fikum. جزاكم الله خير الجزاء for the question. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الفاتحة والدلالة على الهدى ويسر به قبل النبي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم عليه وآله وصحبه وسلم، وإلى أرواح معلمنا ومشايخنا وذوي الحق علينا، وإلى حضرة النبي محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وصحبه وسلم. الفاتحة.